Great. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Big turnout here in the Lone Tree Civic Center. It's like we've got at least 20, 25 people here tonight. Tonight, again, we have our image competition, and this one is on street photography. We've got the judge tonight is an expert in street photography, Dave Purcell. Will be judging for us tonight. 74 images altogether, so great, good number of submissions in that. So once again, tonight's judge is Dave Purcell. A little bit about Dave here is a Denver-based photographer, which obviously we know. He attends pretty much every one of our meetings here in person when he can, when he's not traveling the world, for whether it be his job or other just personal travel. He enjoys photographing diversity that Colorado provides, enjoys the outdoors and meeting and connecting with people, which definitely shows up in his images. One of his specialties is environmental portrait photography, whereby he takes portraits of people in their natural environment, whether it be where they work, where they play, and so forth and that. But he tries to incorporate their environment into a lot of his portrait photos. He also collaborates with others for custom portrait photography sessions. And lastly, Dave was the Advanced Photographer of the Year, back-to-back years here with Lone Tree Photo Club. So in my mind, that means he knows what he's doing. So thank you, Dave, for judging for us tonight.
I'll have Dave talk about his process, and then we'll start the review of the pictures.
Sure. I've been kind of enamored with street photography for a while because I love travel photography and I love portraits. And it used to be when I was doing my travel stuff, I would try to eliminate people. And then I realized it probably added a lot to the photo if I would include a person or two. I've come to find out that street photography is very difficult. It's especially probably for those people who are introverts, because you have to go up to people potentially, and it's kind of scary, right? There's a bunch of different types of street photography, but the two main categories that I see are what I call either hunters or fishers. Hunters are probably what you would think of as a classic street photographer. You wander in the streets, you're looking for stuff, you're hunting for a picture, and then you just take the photo. And within that category, there's people that know you're taking a photo of them and then totally oblivious to that photo. Where the fishing ones, which I prefer because it's not as stressful, can be somewhat considered fine art photography, where you see a background, whether it's a pool of light or a red wall or whatever, and then you just sit there and wait for your prey to go by, right? You wait for the person to walk through that pool of light or get, in the background and stuff like that. So we've got a lot of fantastic photos, and they display a bunch of these different kind of categories. I'm looking for specific subjects. I want to see interesting light. I think you can really boost up contrast with especially in black and white with the street photography. And also, is it appropriately saturated or not saturated? Situationally, have we framed somebody within a frame? The compositions are a little bit different. We don't have to necessarily be on a third or be, traditional things. We're kind of run and gun. So it's a little bit looser and it's really not judged on traditional compositions. But, I'm looking for little bits and pieces, emotional value, etc., repeating patterns, textures, whatever. So I've kind of incorporated all these little bits and pieces in my judging. I've been actually very, very impressed. So
the first picture is Boys Game.
I think it's really a clever title, and successfully for the emotion here. Where the boys are really engaged with the game, the girls being either left out or uninterested. And I think it's key here is contrasts. We got the girls versus the boys. We got the interest versus the uninterested. We got the inclusion versus the exclusion. Um, you know, uh, without these kind of contrasts, the light is, kind of flat. So we're really looking for emotion here. I think this could be possibly made a little bit better by taking the crop in from the left and the right a little bit, because I'm not necessarily loving the trash can or the cart or whatever. I gave this a 9.
Bundled biker.
This is bordering on an environmental portrait. Oh, by the way, let me just throw out that I actually like environmental portraits, but I like portraits where I'm engaging with the people. And that's not traditionally a street photo. That's posing somebody or talking to them. So we've got a few in here that would be considered more portraits than street photography, but I still like them anyways. So I'm not going to kill you, but just know that that's, touchy kind of a difference. With this one, it is almost bordering on a environmental portrait. He's got a really good, genuine expression. I like the low point of view, gives him some hero status. But the low point of view also is maybe a little bit too close. He's cramped. He's not really giving too much space to ride into. I like the yellow vest. It really makes him stand out. But on the sleeves, it's a little blown out. I gave this one an 8.
Check, please.
Really well defined subject, classic triangular leading line. Your eyes keep going around and round to look at the girl and the people. I like the really layered composition here with the people in the background, but they're muted, gives the photo a lot of depth. It's got really cohesive color palette, great lighting and separation for the subject versus the background. Really good cinematic story. I gave this one a 10.
Cinco de Mayo performance.
This is a really good example of decisive moment, where the dancers are really in the peak jumping moment. I like the rule of odds, if you know, or threes. You've got 3 distinct groups, 2 on the left, 2 in the middle, 2 on the right, and the people in the middle are jumping up. There's no overlap or tangency, as they say. The colors are great, lighting is interesting, capital in the background gives you a sense of place. I just wish that the guy jumping kind of in the pink would be a little bit to the right so that they would be framed exactly on the obelisk, but I gave this one a 10 as well.
Curious anticipation.
Interesting layered composition. You got 3 main characters here, then a second group that's kind of muted coming down the stairs. It's really good storytelling. They're obviously looking at something. I just don't know what the anticipation is. My problem with this, or where I would make it a little bit better, is that umbrella is just so big and so white that your eye is going to it and is drawing all your attention. So I think it's kind of more distracting rather than interesting. And there's really no interesting light or pools of light that's going to save this or whatever. I gave this a 7.
Dancing fury.
This one actually made me laugh. I mean, what is that weird bear dude? I mean, it's just a neon bear. And to make it even more funny, both girls, I don't know if you see behind, their jeans are all torn up, like they were just in a bear attack, you know? So, but I like that there's at least 2 clear main subjects here. You know who they are. Too bad this is like a really overcast day. So I think what the photographer is trying to do here is really trying to compensate that with overly rich saturation. I'm okay if he saturates the bear, but the sky looks overdone, and I don't know. The girl obviously knows you're taking the picture, so it is a nice moment and a defining in photo. But the bear and on the right is just so cluttered. I mean, there's just tangency all over. I'm not sure if you could have waited until they got out into the open, just to make this a little bit better and desaturated. So I gave this a 7.
Flowers.
This is what I would call low hanging fruit of the photo world. It's a really fantastic travel photo, rich backgrounds, interesting people. Boy, you have nailed color theory here. You got the yellow blue combination, you got the red green complementary colors in the cart, and then you're echoing that again on that interesting wall. The only thing here that's off is, boy, the vendor has his hand right in front of his face. And what would really make this even, you could probably not care as much if there was an interesting sliver of light or something, but it's definitely not. This is an overcast day. In fact, you can see drops of rain on the lens. I gave this one a 9.
I want to be a cowboy.
Here's a great storytelling image with intense anticipation. I love that the photographer used the fence as a frame within the frame. The brilliant colored clothes just makes this kid pop. The tangency or the overlap of the background is really distracting with the kid and the person taking a photo, and you're not really separating that person out with a depth of field. You're not doing an F28 or something like that. So you see that person back there. I really wish that it would have been a little bit more separation because I love the frame within a frame. That being said, I gave it a 9.
Incoming.
Here is some classic urban wildlife shots. Um, this checks a lot of boxes. This is a decisive moment and it's got comedic timing. I mean, look at the mom fox. She's closed her eyes. She knows she's about to get smacked in the face. Exceptional separation between the subject and the background. And it's in a sliver of light, just exceptional photo all around. I gave this one a 10.
Lady in market.
This is probably more of an environmental portrait that I really love, more than maybe just a pure street photo, because she's definitely looking at you, I mean, you probably haven't posed her, but she's definitely looking at you. Nonetheless, this is a really interesting place. The background is a really fantastic story. I don't know if there's a broom factory or what it is, but it's got a lot of interesting things. I wish that the framing were a little bit different. I'm seeing too much ceiling and not enough of her dress. Um, I really don't need to see that guy on the right. Another thing I don't like about photos in general is when they have too much writing, because people, if there is writing in a photo, you will read it and it distracts your attention. So if you cropped out the ATM and the guy on the right, then this would be a little bit stronger. My biggest issue with this, and I looked at this close, is she's kind of soft. The main focus is really with those brooms in the middle. I gave this a 7.
Night on the job.
Well, now masterful execution, high impact, urban, long exposure. Kind of makes me wonder if you used a tripod, which would be really unusual in street photography, but it's really good. You got the ghosted light rail train. Then through that ghosting, you see another one coming with starburst headlights. You just nailed color theory with complementary yellows and blues. Uh, General timing really just is fantastic. It's just a real nice unified photo, in my opinion. I gave this a 10.
Pedal hopping.
I love the story here and the nature of what's going on. Low point of view below the people in the pedal hopper. I enjoy the repeating pattern of everybody in denim outfits. And man, this photo is unbelievably tack sharp. And so the person that was doing this really knows what they're doing because this thing is moving at a decent speed. So they knew that they had to have a high shutter speed. Technically it's really well done. There's space in front of the subject. You can see all the wheels. I just wish there was more interesting light. This is just, you know, boring light, but they've made up for it with a little saturation. I would have liked to seen a little more depth difference by keeping the saturation on the people and maybe desaturating the background. And that would allow me to get just a little bit of contrast and maybe a little bit depth. I gave this a 9.
Picture prom.
Wow. Wow. This is fantastic. Photo of the girl putting the boutonniere on the guy. I first noticed the red, white, and blue colors in the picture, and then I start noticing other things, the subtle things, the guy's hand gently on her back. I start looking at the flowers that the girl in the red's holding for the girl in the white. And then what really makes this fantastic is she's taking a photo. So we have a photo within a photo of that photo, right? So that's fantastic. What I would have really liked to seen though is less headroom here, more stairs leading up to this picture. That being said, I gave it a 10.
Ready to hoist.
Great narrative here on work that's, about to happen. Good low perspective, looking up at the main participants. They're on a third in the image. I like that the mountain gives you a sense of place, but realistically, I don't think you need all that depth to the background. I mean, if this was a blurry background, blurry mountain, it hasn't changed the picture any. Crop's not bad, but with everything in focus, that red umbrella is really starting to draw my attention. And I think, as far as decisive moment, it's really not here. I think the decisive moment was going to be when the hoist is made and not here. We just have people, it's almost like a grab shot, photojournalistic shot. I gave this a 7.
Red dress.
Wonderful leading line. The arches lead to a person at the end. Amazing textures with the vines, the cobbled streets, the leaves in the trees. I mean, it just makes you want to be here, right? Unfortunately, like if you really look, the exposure at the end of the arch tunnel was just way too bright for the file to handle, and trying to bring it back, it just looks a little bit wonky with the halos. Um, so you're trying to force the contrast at the end. Trying, I think what you could do is probably do the unthinkable and take a generative fill and have it construct something at the end so that the halos weren't too bad. I also think you're trying to compensate a little bit with the oversaturation. The red dress is kind of over the top, but what gets my attention is the neon green leaves at the top. It's just way too much. It doesn't look quite natural. That being said, I mean, yeah, I still want to be here. I mean, these arches are just fantastic. I just love that you captured, this scene. I gave it an 8.
Shivering in Summit Lake.
Really interesting cinematic crop, and it really directs the viewer's eyes to exactly where the shooter wanted to have us look, with a slight triangular kind of a composition. You kind of go from one boy to the next to the girls and back and forth. I think what makes this is a really fun image is these girls have coaxed their boyfriend into the freezing water while they are staying out of trouble and danger. In fact, they're actually recording the danger here. And that guy on the right, I don't know if it's rocks on his feet or he's just freezing his nuts off. But look at that. It's just, he's just a great comedic thing. I might, since it's all the same kind of bright tones, it is an interesting light, but I would like to see a little bit different tonal contrast, maybe dodge and burn a little things here and there, just so it isn't all the same. I gave this one an 8.
16th Street Mall.
Really love the point of view. If you can get high or low in any photo, it's going to be a little bit more interesting. Really powerful linear perspective and leading line of the warm lights, highlighting the 16th Street, canyon at this point. Great depth of field. The visual anchor here is that billboard. Might be a little bit too bright, and your eye keeps coming back to it. But my biggest issue is for a street photo, the cars and the people are just too small to have any sort of hero or individual story. That being said, it's a great image. It's just not one that ticks the boxes for a street competition. I gave it a 7.
Smiles in droplets.
Who is that homeless guy? There, Korean. This one ticks a lot of boxes. Clear subject, interesting light, decisive moment of the girl running through the arch. Person took this, really knows what they're doing. The frozen water, shallow depth of field. It shows great emotion. Got complementary colors of the yellows and the blues. And I forgot, the square crop is fantastic for the round thing in the middle, or her under that arch. It's just a perfectly complementary combination. I gave this a 10.
Splash.
Similar idea with this photo. I think for me, what really draws me to this image is the unmatched, candid expression. It really, really warms your soul. Depth of field is fantastic. They've really blurred out the background. I don't even mind where she is. I mean, a lot of people would say you're too close to the left edge, but I was taught years ago, you could put somebody near an edge, and what it shows is, and facing that edge, it shows kind of a intense drama. It gives you, it makes you tighten up a little bit. So it's actually adding to the drama. And I don't mind that in this kind of a photo. That being said, I think the composition, I probably would eliminate a little bit of the top and a little bit of the bottom because it just doesn't add to the story as much. I gave this one an 8.
Sunset stroll.
Wow, fantastic silhouettes. And talk about the light. I mean, look at those shadows coming at you. It's got drama, it's got depth of field. I personally think that the color might be a little bit overworked. But my sense is that I don't need that person on the left. He's kind of lost in the waves. He's in an awkward position. If you take him out, then you kind of got the rule of third or the rule of odds with a man, dog, and woman kind of there. And the only thing I know this might be controversial, but if it were me, I might even take out the sun. I mean, it's been done before, right? You crop down below the sun, you still see the reflection in the beach. The sun is there. You've got it backlit. It's still a wonderfully composed shot. The depth of field is great. I gave this one an 8.
Sweet April.
Okay, fantastic portrait. I'm not sure if we would consider this at all a street photo, but she is delightful. I mean, this is full of emotion. She's got personal charm. You're just caught by her eccentric energy. This image, I was looking at this and this is tack sharp. I mean, this is fantastic by the photographer. It's got harmonious colors, great textures. Like I said, the only knock is that unfortunately this is a street image competition. That being said, I love this woman here, and it should probably be in a gallery quality competition. I gave it a 9, so I didn't knock it down too bad.
The launch pad.
Okay, I think this is just a heartwarming slice of life, multi-layered family story. I think the green in all directions is a nice anchoring uh, uh, place for the family. It's got beautiful light. The emotion on the little girl's face in at the bottom right is just outstanding. I just wish we could see the father's face a little bit more, and the little boys. It's kind of blocked um, by the arms and the angle. Um, I love that they got down right on the grass for a low point of view. I think that's the way to do it. But at the same time, maybe if you were a little bit to the right, you wouldn't have the arms and the faces, obscured as much. Um, I might just desaturate the image a little bit, make the greens a little bit more believable. But the joy in this photo is just amazing. I gave it an 8.
Under protection.
Very visually complex image, great leading line, great variety of colors here. There's got to be some weird underlying story as to why this seemingly happy street with the umbrellas has to have this security guard there. Uh, but I mean, that's some sort of weird story, and I like that it's making me guess and come up with images. The leading line goes down to that yellow wall, and there's a set of schoolgirls in like a red and white outfits down there. But I wished that the maker of this photo had waited just a second or two, and those girls at the end would be smack down dab in the middle of that wall at the end, highlighted by the red. Um, since it's a little bit overcast here, all the tones are just the same. They're just same. I don't get any shadow detail. What I would do is a lot of dodging and burning. I would do a little dodging on some of the umbrellas. I would try to add a little bit of shadow detail, a bunch of little radial filters. I gave this a 7.
Foyer of art.
Great title. This guy clearly envies that the Monet he's looking at is not the Monet that they're looking at. This is what I consider to be interesting light indoors. If you're wandering around Denver and the light is just blah, 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 go indoors. I mean, look at, you've got two situations here. You got one guy silhouetted and two women lit up. And I'm sure that these paintings are lit exactly the same way. You've got these lights coming down from the ceiling, and depending upon where you stand, you could be illuminated in different ways. And in fact, this could be just the guy on the left, and you could darken it down and have a silhouetted figure against the painting. I like that there's reds and greens in here. I like that you also throw the coolness of the photo. I like that there's a contrast between uh, the past in the picture and the present. People are looking at it. You got male versus female. You got silhouetted versus spotlit. I gave this an 8.
Okay. You have my heart.
I like the interaction of the small boy and the large sculpture. I guess that's showing the San Francisco scene specifically. Looks Chinatown. What's interesting about this is there's a pool of light out there in the street. And I think if you took a lower point of view, and I realize you're kind of sitting on stairs here and it's tough to do, but if you got a lower point of view and put that kid's head, maybe upper torso, in that interesting light and really allow it to highlight the kid. I think it's a little bit cramped on the left side, and 90% of this is kind of just average light. So I would definitely do some dodging or radial filters to make the heart a little bit more interesting. I gave it a 7.
Okay, we have several tens, and these are all the tens that you have. Do you want to go through each one of these individually and then select?
No, I know immediately. Let's see. I know immediately. I don't know why. This doesn't seem logical. Instead of having a person, I love the urban fox story. It's just too fantastic with a comedic, story and the fantastic light.
Okay, we'll now go to advanced color. Our first picture is America.
Really, really nice layered image with the people. In the foreground, you got the leading line of the cars, the roads. It's heading towards the mountains. You got the payoff with the mountains in the background. Plus the 3 flags, very, very pleasing kind of. I know there's more people in here, but the flags are what really grabs your attention. And that's kind of, again, like a rule of odds. The lighting is fantastic and dramatic. What interests me is this photo raises a lot of questions. I mean, like, they're facing west, and the cars coming up from behind going west can't see these flags. So why are they sitting here? I mean, is this just one slice? Is there a line of these flags all the way across, and it's really designed for the people coming eastbound? I don't know. It's like I said, it's a curious story, and I like that it's raising questions. I think it's a vibrant color palette without being too saturated. I gave it a 9.
Anticipation.
Wow, I'm drawn to the colors and the energy and the like the double layer narrative here. You got the young dancers having their turn and the slightly older dancers waiting to strut their stuff, all with, razor focus. The girls emotional on the bottom and just showing their stuff, and the other girls just can't wait to jump in. I like the patterns, the color repetitions that really enhance the dynamic movement. And I love that the shooter is at the level of the younger dancers, but at the same time, that kind of causes overlap with their heads and the dresses for the girls behind. So I'm really, really, really torn. If you had just a slightly higher point of view, um, then you would eliminate the tangency between the 2 sets of girls and possibly would make it just a little bit more interesting. But I really wouldn't shoot this at 5'9". I would try to really get above them so that it was an interesting point of view, and then still brought out the 2 layers of dancers. I gave this an 8.
Downtown dialogue.
It's kind of a thought-provoking interaction. I wonder what they're talking about. I really enjoy the framing. In general, we have like round subjects, including the planter in the middle with the geometric framing of a building. The color cast purposely gives I don't know, I want to say almost sophisticated monochromatic color palette for me. I like that the frosted glass is like a white and it sets them off, not as 100% as silhouettes, but it could be as silhouettes. The only place where I think this kind of falls down a little bit, which is key to me, is that the people are a little soft, especially the guy on the left. And it's easy to do in a dark alleyway when you just pull up your camera to your face and you shoot. You're probably at a 20th of a second, and it just blurs enough, or maybe he moved just a little bit. Like I said, it's hard to tell from this distance, but both of them are just a little off. I gave it a 7.
Electric Underground.
Wow. I mean, this hits you in the gut with all the colors and things to look at. For me, this is of course this is the Banksy Tunnel under Waterloo Station in London on Leake Street. This is a famous worldwide for Banksy starting a lot of his artwork in here. And this is just it's an electric tunnel. This has a fantastic leading line, and you get the payoff of all those people 2 by 2 by 2 all coming up the tunnel with the leading line of the bicyclist, which is clearly the main subject. He and then down the tunnel give you a great depth in the image. This is just a fantastic, amazing street photo. I gave it a 10.
Eyes on the Prize.
Talk about a layered image, man. This is a photo with a lot of interest. It's got to be Havana, where clearly no one gave him the booklet telling him how to really play volleyball. But look at the expressions on everybody's face, the weathered textures of the building. Everything is really captivating. The photographer caught the ball perfectly in flight, right at the decisive moment where they're about to jump up. And even the guy on the right has a lot of good color harmony with the buildings. This is another amazing photo. I had to give it a 10.
Help Us Watch You.
Great title. And it just started making me think, this is a really thought-provoking image. Great juxtaposition of two people. One of them's pasted on a light rail, but it's almost giving you the narrative of a big brother surveillance in my mind. Corporate presence overseeing urban spaces, and this poor guy's standing there. His head is down. He's, subservient to it. I think it's really cool that the translucent windows in the light rail train have a weird ghostly effect that really just adds to the surreal, I don't know, I want to say psychologically weighted image. I gave this a 9.
How to Walk Your Dragon.
Wow, great high energy, vibrant image. I love that this is showing, cultural community, the vibrance, the, diversity in Denver. I just wish that the framing were just slightly different. I don't need to see that much sky, and I would really like to see more of the feet of the people, so that dragon was a little bit more towards the top. I gave this an 8.
Illumination.
Great portrait. And let me just say it's portrait because it certainly looks that way, where the subject definitely knows that they're there. But the shooter clearly has made a fantastic connection with the subject. And this image just comes off as, in my mind, really tender, emotional, and intimate. I just hate that I'm going to have to knock off a point because it's just such a compelling, emotional image to me. Great textures, illumination, fantastic image. I wish I would have taken it. I gave it a 9.
Not ready for the day.
This does not look comfortable.
I bet that's warm.
Yeah, it probably is. That's exactly right. Warm.
Okay, that feels good.
I mean, this guy's even got a coffee next to him and he's out cold, I mean, what's the story here? I was kind of wondering, I was like, did he take this is clearly Union Station, right? So did he take a train from the airport up all night, flying in from somewhere a long distance? And now he's made it to Union Station and he's waiting for his hotel room to open up. First, I thought, maybe this is a homeless guy, but that's a really expensive leather jacket and jeans. So I don't think that's a homeless dude at all. I just like the multi, layered composition where he's in the middle. And I love that the foreground is this dappled water splashing, and then the urban blurred cityscape in the background has sandwiched him in. So the f-stop here is just really, really well done. I gave this an 8.
The Blues Brothers.
The Blues Brothers. Love the camaraderie, the story here, the group of friends all in the Blues Brothers costume, and they're fighting this snow. I mean, they're in this together. You can see them all smiling. They all have these stupid shiny plastic hats on. They think this is hilarious. This shows a really good group dynamic. The photo to me almost looks like a movie poster from Reservoir Dogs. Um, maybe these guys are just about to pull off a diamond heist. I don't know, maybe. Um, the only thing I think I would alter a little bit is de-emphasizing the non-traditional hiking boots with these suits. I think it would make it just a little bit more polished. I gave this one an 8.
The Last Train Home.
Wow. Masterfully moody cinematic photo. Uh, Square crop perfectly matches the opening in the subway or underground stair entrance. It's silhouetted him in the opening. On mine that I got, this was almost all black, which made it even creepier and scarier. I mean, maybe the narrative obviously is the last train home from a hard day's work, but it could easily be from a Jack the Ripper murder here. Um, I love that they've limited the color palette to dark blues. It just really, really unifies the moody story here. You've got the highlights of the blue on each one of the treads of the stairs. I had to give this a 10.
Urban Luminosity.
This is another atmospheric, cinematic kind of high energy showing the nightlife of the 16th Street Mall, diners, strollers, pedal cabs. They're waiting for their worn out parties to come. What makes this interesting to me is that you've got the cool blues in the billboard, beautifully contrasting the warm streetlights. So they've really taken time to think about some color theory here, and it just makes this image pop. I think this might even actually be a bracketed picture because it almost has it definitely has a little bit more of a HDR feel. The billboards are not blown out, and if you just took a single snap, I doubt that would come out as crisp. Um, I this is my personal feeling, but if it were me, I don't like HDR pictures all that much. Um, Especially to this level, I would have added more um, shadows and character to it, and not made it just all the same, including the sky. But since that is my opinion and not everybody else's, I gave it a 10.
Okay, we have several tens, and these are the 3 different tens.
Yeah, I mean, you almost have to flip a coin, but I'm gonna go with the scary ass blue one. Last Train Home, because boy, it's moody, it's emotional, it's amazing. And that's what I would call, your typical Fisher. I mean, saw the scene standing in this blue light, and then you just wait for your victim to come down, and that person is perfectly centered in there with leading line going down. It's just a fantastic photo.
Okay, we'll go to the Pro Color. And our first picture is, can I show you a picture?
Okay, I love the high angle perspective here. Because of that, you get all the true colors and textures of the street. It's kind of taking a mundane scene of two people just meeting, and it's making it more of a compelling, quiet human interaction with the story from this angle. I mean, if you just took them at 5'9", this would be two people just standing there, right? Um, they're on a PowerPoint in the, a third and a third in the image. It really, because they put them there, it really emphasizes the great negative space. And it just, you know, highlights the seemingly isolation of this couple having a intimate moment. I give it a 10.
Clean sweep.
Uh, Great leading line. I mean, you just notice that right away. Also, this guy's head is perfectly positioned with a little bit of an interesting light behind it. You've got out there in the street, somewhere back there, light pouring into the scene. So you have the darker in the foreground and the lighter in the background. And they put this guy's head exactly where it needs to be for great separation. I also like a little bit of the repeating pattern on the ceiling of the chrome panels that also give the image some extra pop and create some nice reflections. I gave this one a 10.
Remembering you always.
This checks a lot of boxes. You got the leading line, you got repeating headstones, you got at least 4 interesting separate textures in here. This guy's on the golden ratio placement. It's well handled for near, mid, far compositions, rhythmic color, and of course, the pièce de résistance is the emotional, solemn honor, grace. I gave this a 10.
What time does our Uber arrive?
I love this back alley, great charm, European, slow pace. I don't know if this is Spain, Portugal. I don't know. It's somewhere exotic, maybe somewhere in North Africa. It's just great. I love the way the road zigzags up and leads right to that church spire. You got the people for interest. And I know you're kind of going for a high key kind of look in this photo, but the sky is just not doing you any favors. Again, I might, if this were my image, I might do the unthinkable and replace the sky. And I know you can tell me now that for a street image, especially, I'm going to go straight to hell for that blasphemy. I gave it a 9.
Okay. You have 3 10s.
Without a doubt, the remembering you, the Scottish Piper, the emotion on that is just too good. The unifying color is just so well done.
Okay. Now we're going to go to beginner, intermediate, black and white. And our first picture is Between Two Worlds.
This is a really good title because, man, this is just complete chaos. It's really hard to discern what's inside and outside. I assume that the guy is inside and we're getting some kind of weird reflections. But if you notice, some of them, like the one next to him, is more of a solid reflection. And then everywhere on the street, it's like a double, almost a double in-camera exposure or something like that. I mean, I just have no idea what's going on. So yeah, it is between two worlds without a doubt. My biggest problems with this one that I would try to correct is he's a little bit soft, but worse yet, there's a tree going through his head. So if you had just moved to the left, or I don't know, it's hard to tell what's going on here. So maybe left to eliminate that issue, it would be much better. I gave it a 7.
Brian Scott, love you.
Yeah, Brian Scott really does love me. I'm kind of torn on photographing homeless because I think Brian Scott is. But that being said, he's got this really cool, interesting sign. Probably makes this worth a snap. His puffer jacket frayed cap there adds textures, and his kind of grizzled face is really shows him off as a great character. Uh, I would give him more space. I would crop this with a little bit more space behind him and on the bottom. But what keeps drawing my attention are those white umbrellas. I just can't get around that. My eye keeps going to that over and over and over. I would burn that down or do something with that because my attention, even though he's more or less in between, just can't stop going there. I gave this one a 7.
Cannon Beach.
I like that the dense fog transforms this wide panoramic beach into a stage for the, Peter Iredale shipwreck. I do like that there's 3 distinct groups of people, all with different generations. You got the older people in the middle. You kind of got the 20-something, 30s on the left, and you got the little kids. But this is kind of all the same tone. It's turning out to be more of a documentary image. I mean, besides the kids jumping and getting a little action, these people are just wandering back in the fog. So I like that there's driftwood pointing to the main subject, but I would take that and really dodge and burn the snot out of it to add a point of interest. I gave this 7.
Checking directions.
Um, there's a great contrast in here. I love the contrast, interesting light, long shadows here. Our hero does stand out from the background because he's got this sharp suit, nice pressed shirt, but he's really not doing anything too interesting. And the people in the background are just so cluttered. I know it's hard to say that you should wait for another business gentleman without, all this clutter in the background, but the crowd is just pulling my attention a little bit too much. I like the overall picture and I appreciate that it's a good story, that there are directions and the suitcase. I gave this an 8.
Coffee break.
Okay, I like the interesting dappled light here, but I can't stop looking at the stupid sign. Like I said, if you have something that's has writing on it, people will read it. And this has nothing to do, I don't think, with the photo. I just hate knowing that there's something I must read. I think if you were just a little bit to the left, that would eliminate the sign, and then you would stop the overlap of the man with the woman, the tangency of that. I have to say that I love the contrast. You got a true black point, you got a true white point. That's fantastic. But if you're going to name your photo coffee break, I think you should at least have a coffee in your hand and not a fountain drink. I gave this one a 7.
Crossing past the chaos.
I enjoy this really, dark, moody, black and white. I love the way you darken down the brown palace on the top to focus the viewer's eye. But it's kind of comes off as more of a documentary grab shot where your main subject's just cutting through. And you've cut the legs off. You got a guy on the right-hand side, just wandering through. I think I think if you waited, or if you'd taken this photo just a second or two before, you wouldn't have the guy in there. So you would make this a little bit more minimalistic. She would be right there in the steam, so she would be more silhouetted. And I'm not sure if you can tell, but the main subject is just a little bit soft. And I'm not sure if that's because they're not focusing on her, or if it's the movement. And like I've said before, got to be an all or nothing thing, either have her with motion or freeze her, but this in between stuff is tough.
You gave it a what?
Hmm?
You gave it a what?
I gave that a 7, I'm sorry.
Dreamy young shopkeeper.
Um, here's another photo I wish I took. Boy, those eyes are amazing. Got the catch lights in them, giving them almost like an iridescent quality. His wild, his dark curls adds texture along with the woven chair and the pattern, pattern in the chair. I mean, this truly captures innocence, I don't know, quiet curiosity. Is this a street photo or not? I don't know, but probably because I see foreign kind of language written on there. So pretty sure you didn't talk to him and pose him. I think this is fits exactly with the theme. And for those two, couple shots that I in the past I knocked down a point. I want to apologize immediately, but this is just too good. This is just too good. I gave this a 10.
Enamored.
I love the cinematic nature of this one. Really complex reflections here. I like the title here because you can tell he's just in love with this girl. He's just melting all over. Um, I see a true black point, and maybe there's a true white point in the reflection of the hood of the car. But that most of it is this same tone, intermediate light gray. I think you could do a lot of dodging and burning to make some local adjustments, local contrast to really clarify the man's face. Um, I don't know, and I'm not sure. You might crop a little bit down from the top because those reflections up there. I don't know if they're key to the story. I gave this an 8.
Evening hangout.
Wow, I mean, I just love the contrast. It's just absolutely wonderful. I mean, just look at how, it's just black and white in your face. Um, you know, it's just a total stage. And you got these three people in the middle. You got this triangular composition of the three. You keep going around and around in a circle. And then the two people in the background are framed within a frame. And I think you're just barely pulling off that this is not blown out. It's really tough, but it's you've been able to recover some of the highlights. I think if you had just a slightly lower point of view than the tall guy on the right, which I relate to, you'd have him in the frame just a little bit better. But this is kind of voyeuristic Nighthawks picture. I gave it a 9.
Having a real bad day.
Wow, talk about an oh shit moment. I'm not sure exactly how you anticipated this comedic moment of the wheel. Maybe there was making noise or these people just look crazy coming down the road, but it was staggeringly good, decisive moment on your part. I like that you've done some brightening of the main subjects. You got a true white and black point in here. Maybe his shirt's blown out a little bit. I don't know. It's not too bad. I looked at this close, and unfortunately, the entire thing is just a little bit soft. I'm not sure if it's because you cropped in a little bit or whatever, but I gave it an 8. Okay, fun action photo, a lot of energy, great decisive moment. It's got a really fantastic, strong vertical framing. compelling tonal contracts, good depth of field with the soft trees in the background. I think you could probably bring down the tonal contrast in the white shirts a little bit. They might be just bordering on blowing out, but I love the emotion on the main subject's face. I wish, there at the bottom, I wish we could see the other two participants' face just as well. For me, the thing that I would really like to know is what what are they going after here? Is it a basketball, football, rugby ball? I don't know. Maybe a baby falling out of the tree. I don't know. I mean, uh, I, I wish that that was part of the composition was what are they going for? But it's still great energy and emotion. I gave it a 9.
I hope it's good news.
Okay, really great minimalist image, telling a story. I like the strong graphic, linear geometry, lots of variety in the textures. This is a risk. I mean, is a photo with no humans in it a street photo? Well, yeah, because that there was a human there at some point putting these newspapers in here. Got to give the maker of this extra bravery points for trying to go beyond just the normal. But for me, I just need a little bit more story. I would love to see some crazy guy in a bad robe coming out trying to grab his picture, his paper to find out if he got the winning lottery tickets or something. I gave this an 8.
No excuses.
I guess the no excuses are the guys working out, exercising, conquering this huge towering incline. Very graphical image, compelling, compelling motion, which is, I got to tell you, really, really hard to do from the back. I mean, most people see motion from the side, but you can see him, throwing his leg up from the back. It's dynamic. You got the railings leading you up, just pulling the viewer up into the phone, into the photo. Just wish, I wish the bottom were wider. I wish we went wide on the bottom, so it's more of a triangular composition with a dark gradient at the bottom. So you got going from dark up to light. But that being said, I love the graphical nature of this. I gave it an 8.
Pride Fest artists.
Gotta love the human interaction here. You can tell that this guy, he's got his brushes in his hand. He is, you know, he's still painting this image. He's talking to this woman and he's conveying the passion and energy. I mean, this guy is just I like the interaction between these two. I just wish the sky had more to it. It's like a gray, overcast day, not interesting light. There's no shadows. And the artist hair, you just don't see. He's got his blonde mop, but it's still not offset. I mean, the sky is just blah, the tree is in is competing there. Too much overlap. I gave this an 8.
Serious business.
I enjoy the high contrast nature of this because it really shows the grit of the street coming out. I think the main character is probably the one on the right that's making something there to sell. So I wish the camera angle were just maybe a little bit to the right and the maker was not standing at a normal eye level. I wish he got down a little bit. And the 3 people on the left, especially that one in the front with the plastic coating, it's just too light. I mean, it's the lightness is just drawing my attention away from the main subject. So I wish there was a little bit different point of view, and I would tone down the bright distractions here at least. I gave this one a 7.
Shared work.
This is what I call the low-hanging fruit of the photography world. It's like great scenes in, I don't know, India, Pakistan, some Southeast Asia country. Great story of the collaborative, effort in this rustic background, great textural setting. It's got a complete range of tones, true black point, true white point, but it's just not exceptional light. If I were going to do this, I would try to do some radial filters, dodge and burn, trying to enhance the eye to move around the image a little bit more. And I gave this one a 9.
Skis.
Great repetition of the skis in this like Adirondack ski chair. I think you have found an interesting pool of light. You can see it reflecting on this guy's face. It just naturally enhances the contrast here. But I want to have a little bit more story. I want this to be about the guy and not the chair. So I would do a completely different point of view where you're more head on or side to this guy so that you're telling the story of the gentleman, not the chair. I gave this a 7.
10K walkers.
Technically, this is a great image with good tones, interesting lights. You can see the shadow that is being created by the people. The framing down the road is a wonderful leading line. And you have a decently rich narrative about this charity event for the 10K. But I just don't know where to look. There's just so many people. You got two main people here, but they're in really light costumes. And so that draws my attention, just a little bit too much because, even in wildlife photography, they say no butts. Now I know you can kind of eliminate that in street photography and you make it more interesting or, you don't know who the people are, but people are just too white that it's just, I don't know, butts in the wild for me. I gave this a 7.
Okay, we're going to go to advanced black and white. And our first picture is a lifetime of chords.
Wonderful street, environmental street portrait. This guy is definitely an interesting character with the weather beaten texture on his face, worn down, taped a guitar, tells a great story. His hands a little bit blurred, so he's obviously playing. He's had obviously a dedicated life to, artistic expression. Like the little boy photo, it could be a portrait, but I don't think it is. I think this fits the theme of the competition. I love the high contrast here, the textures in his face, the guitar, the shirt has textures, the hat. I'm really, really impressed that you were able to get up under, the shadows up underneath the brim of the hat. And then from his nose down, it's really bright sunlight. You've masterfully kind of blended all that stuff together. I just don't like the point of view. I mean, we're just looking down on him and I just see the zebra crossing. I wish it was a little bit lower point of view, but I know if you get lower, it might be just people back there. So it's a tough call. I gave this one a 9.
Echoes in transit.
I love this. This is a fishing photo. The maker saw this really interesting background of somebody walking, holding a cell phone, and then they just had to sit here and wait for their prey. And how they found another woman with a ponytail and a phone that's about in the same position. I don't know. Got to tell me if you were here for 4 or 5 hours, but holy crap. I would have liked to see a little bit more black framing around the top and on the left, but full marks for being a true fine art street photographer in waiting. I gave this a 10.
Light to dark.
Nice concept image here. You got light on one side, dark on the other, nice tones, true white and black point. I wish the person in the dark part of the image, and there is somebody over there, were highlighted a little more, because the person on the left is nicely, white on the white, but it's got the trees, so she stands out a little bit, but the dark on the dark really doesn't. I see why you went this pano. You got a planter on the left and a street lamp on the right, but it's just not as interesting. I think you could still do a cinematic crop 16:9, 16:10, and still call it good. I gave this an 8.
Momentary rest.
Exceptional top-down perspective, capturing a real quiet time in this building as the mom feeds the baby. This feels really intimate, relaxed. I really enjoy the interesting window lighting that's lighting up their, faces and highlighting the family story. It's got a full range of white to black tones, perfect amount of contrast. I gave this a 9.
Opinions come in many forms.
Well, I hope this, hold on. Hope this upside down flag is more of a peaceful protest, signaling distress rather than anti-American sentiment. But in either case, it was an excellent spot. Person that took this was on the ball. They saw it. I got to commend you for doing it and jumping in and taking the photos. A clear subject, a message, full tonal range, wonderful black and white conversion. I mean, this is amazing conversion. I wish it had a little bit more space out in front, but it might conflict with another car parked on the side. I wish the depth of field wasn't so crisp front to back, because if you had a little bit more blurry image in the back, the guy's helmet wouldn't blend into the cars and the background. Just think it's a total heads up shot. Great capture. I gave it a 9.
Rhythm of the street.
Great street capture at an event or some sort of a festival. I love the timing of the action. While I don't think it's the decisive moment, it's pretty close to it. I don't know if there's other jumps he does or other moves, but I enjoy. It shows cultural pride, human emotion. The dancer's head is just absolutely wonderfully placed with the cloud in the background, just making them pop off here. The trees are a natural vignette. There are other people in here, but they've darkened them down so that really simplified the image. I gave it a 10.
Sometimes I think I'm just a shadow.
I love the concept of this image, trying to go beyond what is obvious, giving me a new perspective on like an old scene. I mean, there's no people in here. It's just a shadow, right? Great contrast, great textures on the wall. But as you can see, this is one of those shots where the angle of the sun and the distance away from the wall is really critical. It's so difficult to do one of these shots. I've tried it myself, and you either nail it, or you have a let's just say a ambiguous puddle of messy shapes on the ground. So this is half and half. I think this is I think if the subject was just slightly closer to the wall, that this would be a little bit, better with recognizable legs. But overall, I love you taking a chance. I love the creativity. I gave this an 8.
Take it for a spin.
Panning might be just a category all itself, but it certainly fits the subject. You captured the just right amount of sharpness of detail. It's got really pleasing layered striations in here. I guess that's probably a zebra crossing. This probably would be better in color, giving, a lot of more emotion to the photo, but, the only reason I say that is they're from the car down, it's kind of all the same tone. I think you can make this pop a little bit more by dodging or putting radial filters, on the car, maybe gradient filter darkening the bottom or in the corners. But I love the crispness and the story. I gave it an 8.
Temporary refuge.
It's pretty clear that somebody in the club is stalking new mothers. I like the unusual vantage point here and stark minimalism here. It was really cleaned up very, very nicely. I love that this has an angle. This is a square crop, and normally this would be just a person in a chair, but this angle puts implied movement. So this static image suddenly has some, emotion or movement to it. It's a great story. It evokes sense of vulnerability, quiet observation. The only thing that I don't like is that gradient on the left, the white. It's probably blocking something, but it's blending into the chair just a little too much to make it wonky looking. I guess edits are best if they don't look like edits, but well seen moment. I gave it an 8.
The essence of Bourbon Street.
Yeah, this really is the essence of Bourbon Street. Crazy nonstop action. Got the historic ornate buildings. This has just superb linear perspective. Lots of depth of field, good payoff with the buildings and the tourists down at the end of the street. I like that in this particular case, the anchor people are in dark outfits. The only thing I might, and you got people coming in both directions. So you see, people coming, people going. So it's got this, movement, this action to it. I would maybe darken down the top a little bit, uh, just to sandwich things in, or maybe just at least the sky. I gave this a 10.
Up or down, life's decisions.
Man, I'm just a sucker for minimalist images, especially with architectural interest. Another scene, a fisher saw this cool minimalistic structure and just waited for somebody to come. And boy, this human element is just perfectly placed. Just wish this had more interesting light. I would love to put this person in a shaft of light. I mean, I think the sky is tad overworked. And even though I know you're going for a moody image, everything is gritty, it's got great textures. I think it's just I just need a little bit more interesting light. I gave this a 9.
We have 3 tents. You need to see those?
Echoes in transit, that one on the left, the one where it's the two women with ponytails and cell phones, that's just too good. That's just, it's too good.
Okay. We're going to go to the pro category. And our first one is City Walker.
This is what I'm talking about. Interesting light. This person saw this pool of light. In person, this is just slightly brighter. But if you're going to be shooting for the highlights in here, it just darkens everything down. And then you just sit there and wait for, like I said, your prey to come into that shadow. And that shadow is perfectly centered inside there. I like, normally I like full range of tones from light to dark, but the high contrast, it's almost like a chiaroscuro where it's really, really darks and really, really lights. That texture, that just increases your textures. You got good leg movement here. The one leg is slightly blurred. You see motion. The part that I don't look like I question a little bit is that up close that the face has been kind of completely darkened down with a radial filter, and I think it's not necessary. I think you could have left a little shadow detail, but it's a fantastic image. I gave it a 10.
Getting around.
Graphically striking image. Again, here's another person that's going out on a limb, trying to create a creative perspective on an old theme. By eliminating the actual cyclist and only doing the shadow, he's kind of created a really unique top-down point of view. You know, the low sun angle is used, you know, very dramatically. It makes the textures in the sidewalk or the cobbles just really, you know, pop out. It's almost a dynamic fine art canvas, and they were really bold on going like black on black. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, there's just shininess in there, but there's nothing white. It's just, you know, bold concept. This person is going out on a limb with this one. I gave this a 9.
It's a great day.
Here's a great candid street portrait. Really captures a slice of emotion, great expressions. I want to know where his friends are. Or is he just doing this to do it, or is these outstretched arms, you know, greeting somebody? I mean, this guy is just larger than life. You know, he's got just the emotion, and you're seeing this in his face, knowing that this is a backlit image. So you have just the right amount of shadow detail. You've got the sun rim lighting him. It's very, very clever. You know, I'm just blown away that you're able to get the skin tones and the shadow detail with this being so, you know, like I said, backlit and rim light. His head is in a bright spot. He just pops off the screen. I love the theatrical presence. I gave it a 10.
Tourist watchers.
You know, this is almost a cliche postcard image of the Eiffel Tower, but that's what kind of makes this photo massively clever, because the maker wants us to believe that this is a old shot years ago. You got the ratty edges around there. You've got the texture, you got the film grain. You've warmed this up on the black and white to seem like it's faded. I mean, I can tell it's a modern photo because the coaches in the street, if you look at it close, are all modern design, and the clothes of the girls are more modern. But the photographers made a really convincing fake. I mean, this is really outstanding. And you got a, you know, very balanced image. You got the pole, you got the Eiffel Tower, you got the girls, you got three narratives. The Eiffel Tower, you know, anchoring the image. You got the bustling turrets in the middle, and then you got two beautifully isolated women in the foreground. Even the geometric lines are very satisfying. I gave it a 10.
You've got 3 10s there.
I like the City Walker, the first one, just because it's such interesting light. These all should flip a coin. They're all great. But you've got to go with the interesting light.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our
Like I said, fantastic entries. This is so tough to do. Like,
you.